In today's video, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be showing you the problem. On paper, I'm going to be illuminating the issues, lifting the hood, getting in the nuts and bolts of Chelsea Football Club and their problems. I'm going to show you, with your own two eyes, what the issue is. So welcome to Football Therapy, welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing well, friends. I really do hope that. Though in these turbulent, distressing and difficult times, it can often feel very frustrating. I am going to show you where this club is for what, in terms of how they play football, what they do comparatively to the Premier League average. Now, Chelsea currently sit in the bottom half of the Premier League table. What does that mean? Well, I'll show you. I'm going to be using XValue for this today, so strap yourselves in, get comfortable. I'm also going to be telling some home truths. So thank you for joining me. If you want to support the content, you are welcome to by liking and subscribing. And should you subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified when I upload. Before I show you stuff, numbers, I want to reiterate an alarming statistic that I did make a short form piece of content on regarding Nico Jackson. This is not a hit piece on Nico Jackson. He's a young striker. He's been brought in as a recently converted winger to centre forward from La Liga, playing for Villarreal, and now suddenly he's got to be Chelsea's solution to their goal scoring woes after their planned elite gunman in Christopher Nkunku got injured, in pre-season, which of course was not part of the plan. It's a huge amount of pressure. He's got, Alan Shearer dismantling how he plays on Match of the Day correctly, and it's not looking good, Brev. Daniel's story on the Totally Football Show, which is an athletic podcast, illuminated or brought this statistic to my brain. In the last 4 games Nico Jackson has started, Chelsea have had 62 shots and not scored a goal. So the last 4, of course, he scored recently. He came off the bench when Breuer started and scored a goal. But the last 4 games he started, so when we've tactically set up with Nico Jackson as the focal point, the striker, 62 shots, no goals the 4 times he starts. Now, obviously, he's not taking all those 62 shots, but he will be taking a large volume of them. And because he's featuring as that figure in attack, his teammates will be taking shots that are lower value. Basically, the way we tactically set up, or the way we function with Nico Jackson starting a game, results in 62 shots and no goals. Very, very mindful to not have a dig out the kid here. He's clearly got good assets to his game. Whether or not long-term he's the answer for Chelsea, is certainly the jury's out. I can't even see where the jury is at the moment. But Chelsea's shot accuracy, certainly with him starting up top, is pretty dismal. Now I want to show you some stuff here. So this is on XValue.ai, paid for service, so I can give you a detailed stuff here. As you can see, shot accuracy here, Chelsea are 16th in the Premier League. So rather interestingly, Newcastle United are at the top. Look at all these teams above us. 16th. Of course, I believe we're 11th in the Premier League table, which is pretty damning. But it doesn't shock you at all to see Manchester United and Chelsea 15th and 16th for shot accuracy? Almost certainly not, ladies and gentlemen. But this video isn't just about me saying, oh, look, tactically we set up in a way with Nico where no one can friggin' score, and Nico himself he's clearly, he had an argument with a Chelsea fan in the Brentford game, and Pochettino went to go and talk to him, and clearly he's a young guy who's just not, he's the same age as Erling Haaland, but he clearly doesn't have that Nordic baby-eating aura that makes you just think, I'm the best in the world, and I'm going to score 50 goals a season. It's not his vibe. Shame. I'd really like a Chelsea player who has that as their vibe. Must be nice, innit? Must be nice. Anyway, really bad shot accuracy, but we're going to look at a page now on XValue that compares Chelsea's numbers to the league average, okay? To the Premier League average. Now, before we look at this, Chelsea are supposed to be a very good Premier League team, okay? As in, like, the league average is, 10th place, whatever. Well, we are in 10th or 11th, so... But that's what I want to, holistically aggregated, it's important that you know that's what this statistic's coming from. So let's take a look here, shall we? Starting at the top, which is shooting, we've got 4 stats here. First off, non-penalty XG per 90. So this is regular. The league average is 1.353, excuse me. Chelsea have 1.64, so slightly more, which is fine. But we should have a bit more than slightly more than 1.64 per game. And actually, it's important to know that good teams generally outperform their XG a little bit. So if Chelsea average 2 goals per game, then they'd be, if you got a good defense, and that's like a top 4 team as far as I'm concerned, or certainly challenging for a top 4 team. So you could average 1.64 and maybe get 2 goals per game. I don't know if you could consistently outperform that, but Chelsea, good teams often do. So non-penalty XG per shot, that's again pretty much the same as the league average, slightly better. XG from set pieces, we're poor at set pieces, we're under the league average, which is very, very disappointing indeed. And from counters, we're right on the average. And again, we should be better, on the top right here. We should be better at counters than others. Now, let's look at chance creation, shall we? This is going to be very interesting. So chance creation per 90. Cutbacks, which is important. This is like Pep Guardiola football, when you get to the byline, cut a ball back and score. We are averaging 2.9 per 90 to the league's 1. Good. Nearly 3 times as much. Good football teams do that. Crosses, in terms of chances created, 19 to 16.5 is the average. Now, this doesn't really matter too much because the lower teams will do a lot of crosses and hope, and the better teams keep the ball on the deck and knock it around, like the cutbacks there. But it's not, it's fine having a high volume of crosses. Through balls, also really good. Nearly double the average of the Premier League. 3 through balls in terms of chance created per 90. That is good. And dribbles. I thought it'd be much more than that. With the likes of the players we've got, I thought would be really more ball carriers. Like if you look at like a Manchester City with Kovacic and Doku and Bernardo Silva and Foden, I'm sure they'll have hella a lot of dribbles. Let's look at build-up play, shall we? This should be interesting here. So goalkeeper long balls. This is wild. Like, percentage of our goalkeeper long, it's over the average. So what Sanchez is playing, like, we're playing Brexit ball, long ball. Total passes is totally fine. This is what you'd imagine. Chelsea are a possession team. 611 passes to the average, of course, being 472. Chelsea want to keep the ball. They're going to do more passes. This is embarrassing, the percentage of our passes being forward. Now, of course, this is going to be, when you have the ball so much, there's going to be some recycling possession. But yeah, 28% of our passes are forward, where the league average is 33.5, over 33.5. That is embarrassing, but that is not shocking, because so many times us Chelsea fans have watched us with the ball and benign possession and been like, yeah, boring. 1-2s. This is when you 1-2s between players per 90. Yeah, Chelsea more than the average. That's about right. Good players want to play 1-2s between each other. Passes per defensive action. Chelsea are quite near the average there. Build-up disruption percentage. Basically, Chelsea are actually quite good at pressing, right? Gengen pressing intensity is 63. This is we're getting hella nerdy here. But like the Gengen pressing numbers, which is like heavy metal football, counter-pressing, getting up against them, is good. Numbers are good. Over the average for the GPI and the GPE. And then defense, non-penalty XG conceded. Good defense, under the average, that's good. About the same per shot. And yeah, conceded for set pieces, it's slightly better than the average, but we need to be better. And there, so the defense is fine. The defense can be better. Essentially, we're really good at pressing. The build-up is very good. And the chance creation is good. But the shooting is really, really quite bad. If you look at other stats for Chelsea in terms of where they are in the league, it's for essentially goal scoring, conversion rate. We are between 11th and 16th. Absolutely mental. There is something else I wanted to show you here, actually. Look at this graphic here for the team overview of Chelsea in the Premier League average. We're under average for goals, which is mental. Absolutely mental. We are about the same for shots, which, to be honest, I'd like a lot more shots, but it's not really that good enough. More for crosses, and we shouldn't be a cross team. This is just when we're panicking. A lot less for long balls, which is neither here nor there. Shots conceded, ladies and gentlemen. We are massively over the average for shots conceded. We're letting opposition have more shots on goal than the average Premier League team, which is mad. And goals conceded as well. We enjoy much more possession than the average Premier League team. We average over 62% possession, but we know that. And this is something really, really interesting here that I want to talk about is field tilt. Now, field tilt is essentially attacking momentum. It's when you've got the ball in the opposition half, you're passing it around their third, you're carrying it in their third, doing dribbles, basically getting all up close into their goal area, mate, and essentially should be scaring the opposition, but in this instance they're probably going, it's Chelsea, they couldn't score in a brothel. So field tilt is very, very high, like much more than the Premier League average, which means Chelsea, when they play, and what's really testament to that is the first 40 minutes against Brentford, Chelsea look really good. They're like, wow, look at Chelsea. They're like knocking it about really well. They're really applying the pressure onto the opposition. Their field tilt is really high. And of course, their pressing numbers are good. Gegenpressing pressing numbers are good. The metrics that elite managers want their teams to demonstrate. I know it's boring and you guys be like, wow, the only thing that counts is goals. I agree. But remember when Tuchel first touched down at Chelsea and he spoke about turnovers, high turnovers and this kind of data. The good managers, the nerds, this is the stuff they're into. And when they see this, they're like, we're going to be okay because we're doing this stuff, which is really, really important. But yeah, that's fine. But eventually, does that take care of goals? Because I'm freaking out here, bro. Do you know what I mean? It is testament to where we are. Like I said, 11th to 16th in terms of scoring, conversion rate. We do take a decent amount of shots, slightly over the league average. We just don't score goals. The defense is creaking more than it was, and I think personally that is down to the players freaking out. Do you know what I mean? Because all their good play, their field tilt, their gegenpressing, their high turnovers, their combinational play in the final third, that looks very pretty. It doesn't come off, and then they freak out and they concede soft goals. I've spoken about this in detail recently, this sort of psychological frailty to Chelsea. You can put it down to inexperience and juvenile players, but you could also, I don't know, I just worry that it's a sort of character profile thing as well. I was joking about bringing in Diego Costa just to coach them in the 18-yard box. Pochettino spoke about how he wants some nasty players. We just don't have any nasty players, at all. Anywhere. We're all soft. I mean, all the stats I can look at here, I can show you trying to quantify the problem with Chelsea's play. Chelsea theoretically play good football. But what does that mean when there's no goals? It's like when we used to take the mick out of Arsenal, do you know what I mean? Like they knock it around nice, but Chelsea won all the time. It's kind of like the shoes on the other foot now. And it burns! It's a molten magma shoe. I hate it. So, yes, I wanted to show you that. Look, Nico Jackson's a good player, but we shouldn't be relying on him. And I do worry about just throwing Nkunku back in and being like, save us! I'd be very interested in hearing your opinions on these metrics I've shown you of the really positive possession, field tilt, gegenpressing stats. Do you know what I mean? Compared to the league average as well, and just this really basic stuff we can't do. I wanted to show you whenever I find stats that I find interesting, I want to present it on the channel to you guys. Hopefully you find it interesting. Do let me know. I'll always want to make content that pleases the viewership, of course. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there for the moment. Keep it locked and hopefully see you back here very soon. Peace.